you haven't seen WWE's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, you have to go and do that right now. Well, don't do it right now. Give it around about 8 minutes and then go and do it. Let's not pretend we don't know what's going on here. Although actually, if you want to leave this video playing and then you still go and watch it, that's fine too. But massively off track. The point is, you can go straight to the main event between Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins that was in the damn Hell in a Cell, and you will see the American Nightmare stood there with a bruise on his chest that is like all of your fears manifested into real life before he goes on to have a 20-minute plus absolutely excellent wrestling contest, which one, doesn't make any sense, and two, as far as I'm concerned, has turned him into a damn legend. Why? Here's why. Now on paper this seems somewhat obvious, because when you do see an individual go through unimaginable pain just to entertain us, well, we spend a lot of time looking around going, how the hell are you doing this? It was the same with Triple H when he tore his quad and still took the walls of Jericho on the table. Austin broke his flipping neck but still somehow hit the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment. And Sting was buckle bombed and basically stopped working, but he finished the match. Now, I know there is a massive conversation to be had here, but I cannot just respect the hell out of these people that have decided, I have come here for the fans, and I'm giving them what they came to see. So Rhodes has now joined this group, although you could say he was already there because a few months ago he burned himself on TV. But when it comes to the Cody story, it was already fascinating, but now I think it's turning into something legendary. Watch. For starters, in 2016, he told WWE that he wanted to leave the company, and given there wasn't any major competition, they said, okay, well, there's the door. He then wrote that list that was full of wrestlers that blew up on social media, and he went here, there, and everywhere in order to fight them. And it didn't matter what the situation was, he just wanted to get better. I mean, I saw it with my own eyes. I saw Cody Rhodes wrestle in front of 200 people at WCPW, but at the same promotion, I also saw him wrestle in front of 3,000. So the dude had decided that he was not only going to get better, but he was going to transform himself into a star, which he did in the likes of Ring of Honor, New Japan, and he was in TNA for a cup of coffee. That was probably better all round. And then you had everything that went down with All In. I know that took a hell of a lot of people in order to make it work, but it certainly seemed like Mr. Rhodes was one of the instigators because he believed. He'd started that 2 years previously, and he was not getting off this road. This then all led to the creation of AEW, and no matter what you think about that company, they still stand as the biggest competition WWE has had in years. Like if we go back to WCW, which was the previous one, we can probably draw a line after 1999 because the last 2 years of World Championship Wrestling were a little bit crazy. So that means 20 plus years, and when we did get All Elite Wrestling, who was there waving back at us? I'll give you a second, it was Cody Rhodes. I still think his work there was top notch, and while maybe in hindsight the whole I'm never going to challenge for the world title stipulation wasn't the best idea, he still used that in order to elevate the TNT title. What did he do? He left and broke the wrestling world. And this happened because one, nobody thought Cody was going to be the first person to jump ship, but also two, he had now achieved what he set out to do because he had become a star. Because do not forget, when all these rumors were swirling, do you know what other murmurings were going on simultaneously? That maybe, just maybe, Stone Cold Steve Austin was going to come back to WWE. And do you want to guess which story outclicked the other one? Say it with me. Cody Rhodes. Now, if you said any other name, or you didn't say it out loud, I'm very disappointed with you because you're not listening. So at this point, you can start to see that a lot of Cody's career has been about moments, and moments in wrestling is what turns you into a damn hero, because there have been countless wrestlers who have had 20-year plus runs, and they have 5-star match after 5-star match after 5-star match after 5-star match, but they never make it up to this echelon because that's just the way that all industries work. You need a little bit of luck and you need that moment. You want that big emotional, oh my gosh. When it comes to Cody, we've already mentioned about 7, and there's another one. Only happened a few months ago, his big WrestleMania return. Now I was there live, and I tell you, the build, the pomp, the circumstance, the actual entrance itself, I felt privileged that I got to see it live, and it had that other effect when you go home and you watch it on YouTube and you're sat there going, because clearly it had an impact on you, and that carries on. It's just one of those things that seems to be so particular to wrestling, but do not also forget that all of this had already been established. And while there are so many naysayers out there going, well, it's all gonna fall apart when he becomes Stardust again, which it would not do, honestly. We go on too much about this like the Star Wars prequels. We then did get to June 2022, and we shot it off into the stratosphere. Now I get that in many ways this was insane. Why are we letting a man with a torn pec do the professional wrestling? And the only answer I can come up with is that I suppose it was so badly destroyed and it was so badly done that all we actually had to worry about here was pain management. Like Seth Rollins could have got a kendo stick and whacked it for days and it still would have been as bad as it would have been anyway. But moving all that to one side, wow. I mean, just wow. I turned into Owen Wilson on this stupid show. If you had told me at any point during my existence that somebody would be able to do this and have such a good match when they were suffering so badly, I would have slapped you and called you a liar. And look, it's all the same for Seth Rollins too. That man should be given a medal, and he is so underrated, it's criminal to the point if you don't get it, you should be arrested. But here's the difference. Seth is going to be on TV week in, week out for a while, whereas Cody is going to go away, which means he's going to have another moment because he's going to get another comeback. And this time we'll all remember what he did in the summer of 2022, so the adoration is going to be massive and the pop is going to be so huge, it will probably kill a man. And if you actually start looking into the time frames, wouldn't you know it, he may be able to come back for the Royal Rumble, which means he'd be a surprise entrant, which always works. He can win the thing, go on to WrestleMania, become the world champion, finally close that chapter in his family legacy's book. And I'm sorry, that's it for me. You have done it. You ain't ever going back down to earth. I mean, even if you retired tomorrow, I think his story already is enough to inspire you and motivate you and make you go, and I think that guy is a legend. But we're nowhere near done, because the other thing that Cody Rhodes has proved is that he is all in when it comes to sports entertainment and professional wrestling, and he is going to give it his all, quite literally, regardless of what else is going on in his life. You saw it, I think it was that side. It's like an alien. And don't ask me why this is the case or how it all works either. When it comes to wrestling, you do go off emotion and you do go off feel, and this is just the aura that Cody Rhodes is giving off. And he was doing it in AEW, but somehow over the last couple of months, he's taken it and times it by 4. So I just think it was absolutely terrific all around. I will never be able to understand it because it was so bonkers. And just put him in the Hall of Fame. Put him in all the Hall of Fames, screw it. Have a Cody Rhodes Hall of Fame, and if they ever built a real one, you'd be walking down going, it's Cody Rhodes 2, it's Cody Rhodes 3, it's Cody Rhodes 4, like some kind of video game that can't get enough sequels. And what I've essentially said is that Cody Rhodes is the Final Fantasy of the wrestling world. As you can probably tell, I was very taken aback by his performance. I'm just giving him a round of applause. I know, it's stupid, it's cheesy, I don't care. Amazing. Now please do leave a comment below and let me know what you think about all of this. Surely, even if you weren't the biggest Cody fan, you watched that match and you had a little bit of a twinkle in your eye. Then like the video, share the video and subscribe. Head over to WhatCulture.com where you can read yourself some articles and everything to do with Cody Rhodes. Make sure you come say hello on social media and do that because it's a little bit weird. We have a ton of other videos and I've already told you what you can do. Play them and leave. We all know what's going on. My name is Simon WhatCulture. Thank you very much for watching me as always. And what a surprise that Hell in a Cell show was. There wasn't one bad thing in it other than the build. But I like to live in the present because I am a present Pete and I am a positive Pete. No, I can't have both. Hang on a minute. Be a present Paul and a positive Pete. I know. You're looking at the camera or the screen, whatever, going, I hate that guy. I do too. Goodbye.